What is Naughty doing here? He's homeless. Stop with the homeless accusations, man.
He's now homeless. Alright, we gotta watch this video. Apparently, see if this game's any good. And then we're gonna play some Overwatch. Sorry, Overwatch, guys.
Naughty looks like he doesn't shower. Catch these strays, nerd.
They appear to be a dime a dozen. Today, though,
Naughty looks like he doesn't shower. Catch these strays, nerd, he said.
I've been here. Do I shower?
They have just released
I smell good all the time. Do I not?
PC gameplay trailer, which we're looking at right now.
Wait, is this the mobile game that's going PC?
Though, you may be familiar with the name. Arena Breakout is a very popular mobile game that released last year and has often been referred to as a mobile version of Escape from Tarkov. I think the comparisons to Tarkov are pretty inevitable these days, though, when a new extraction shooter comes out, as a lot of people see that as the benchmark or maybe the first to do it, at least in terms of active players. So I'm naturally going to compare this new game to Tarkov as well. Breakout Infinite isn't just a PC port of the mobile version, though. The PC version, they say, is very much built for PC, and it's been advertised as the most hardcore.
Yeah, someone told me it was not a port and it was made for PC.
Military first-person extraction shooter on the platform. The bold statement, yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, but also a big claim. The goal here is simulation, so fans of games like Tarkov, Squad, and perhaps the new Grey Zone.
Notice something. Is this guy's name Ghost or is this an AI? This looks like his buddy, no? It's funny that they're talking about simulation immediately while having their teammate's name above their head, huh?
Warfare should feel right at home. Where there could be a big difference, though, is in the quality of the experience, because the game's creators, called More Fun Studios, said when describing their game that it is the most visually stunning and immersive FPS experience that isn't in a perpetual alpha state. They're coming out swinging, and based on some recent posts on their social media, that appears to be one of their tactics. Now, in fact, they went even further than that, saying Infinite represents an all-in commitment to launching the first viable tactical FPS on Steam that's accessible, content complete, and free of issues like cheating.
When does this game come out, Jackie? You guys answer that?
Bugs, poor servers, and more that longtime fans of the tactical shooter genre have sadly grown accustomed to. The proof is in the pudding, though, right? And we'll get onto the cheating issue in a bit, but as we know with a lot of games that have released in the last few years, they're not always in a great state, and it seems as though More Fun Studios has taken that to heart from what they're saying, and they want to release this game with all of the features present on day one and in a majorly bug-free state. I applaud them for that, and it will be interesting to see how they do with that and how far along the game is when we get our hands on it in May. But it's not just the state of the game on launch, and they've said that they intend to provide long-term community support for the game. Just in case you're wondering about the studio themselves, More Fun Studios are a subsidiary of Tencent, so they've got some big backing there, a lot of money behind them.
They got
Make
money.
of that what you will. The mobile version of Arena Breakout was developed primarily by another Tencent studio called Level Infinite, and while the games will be separate, they are set in the same universe, so there will be some crossover and similarities. Now, the mobile version of Breakout sees you heading into various arenas, and you guessed it, breaking out. It is more in-depth than that, though. You've got realistic gunplay, looting, and an entire gunsmith system. It's a really in-depth mobile game, and it's very popular. In fact, it's had over 10 million downloads on the Google Store alone with a 4.5 rating. That's based on almost 600,000 reviews too, so that appears to be pretty good going. It's also an incredibly difficult experience to bring to mobile and pull it off, just because of the sheer amount of elements in a game like this. So the fact that they've been able to achieve that and apparently done it well, I've never played it, that does give me some hope, though, that they would be able to take those learnings and put together something very impressive on PC, even if it is a different Tencent studio. So in Infinite, you're going to be heading into the Dark Zone as a highly skilled military operative, vying to become the deadliest soldier of fortune known to man. Very dramatic, but it did remind me of an old school game called Soldier of Fortune. Absolute banger. Now you're going to head into the war-torn region of Kimona, where just like with any extraction shooter, there are high risks but also high rewards. The goal is to go in and extract high value items. You'll also be completing missions and various objectives while in the area to make some money. You'll then need to call in the extraction chopper to escape with all of that valuable loot. I mentioned already that the game intends to be an ultra realistic military simulation, and with this in mind, every weapon can be fully customized.
The buttstock's called FAP.
with over 500 accessories. You can change rifle stocks, sight placements, barrels, muzzle brakes, and everything else you can imagine. This in itself, I don't think is really that groundbreaking, as a gunsmith system is pretty standard in these types of games, but the level of customization on offer is definitely impressive. While we don't have too much real gameplay to look at just yet, the 1 minute or so they released today.
You don't like that shit, Stealth? I gotcha.
And you can definitely see the vision for the game, and of course take a look at the graphics. They describe the game as having exceptional detail, as well as real-time lighting and 360 degrees spatial sound effects. Visually, I think it looks nice, and the game does seem to have a good variety of locations. The mobile version has got numerous arenas, so it will be interesting to see if the PC version goes with one large map or multiple smaller areas like Tarkov. I'm not entirely sure if that information's out there, but we'll see. Let me know down below.
I didn't think about that.
You have the scoop.
It's
hard to
maps.
get away from though, and I know that I've mentioned it a few times, but the gunplay definitely reminds me of Tarkov, especially in the interior areas. I can't wait to accidentally kill my teammates. I imagine that Tarkov players will feel very at home with this game, with a lot of the Tarkov community feeling as though the game is going in the wrong direction, especially pending some recent announcements today, and the Grey Zone Warfare test ending and having a good first impression. And
well, wait, hold on. Was that his teammate right there? Is this his teammate? See this guy? Oh, you guys can't see that guy. He doesn't have a name above his head. Maybe it's just because he's not quite in like full in view yet. He's still kind of in his periph. I'm trying to figure out if your teammates are going to have names or not.
First impression, and this game could be coming at just the right time. I briefly mentioned an anti-cheat earlier, and it's actually been a big talking point.
Look at that tree diversity. A little too thick, but it's all right. It's okay, you know? A little bit of diversity, though. You know, it's not all pine trees.
Point for More Fun Studios when discussing the game, which was a breath of fresh air. Often the anti-cheat side of things is either an afterthought or something which developers aren't really...
Okay. Not a huge fan of all the brush there and shit, but you might not even be able to swim across that.
Really that keen to talk about. More Fun, on the other hand, want people to know and made it very clear that fair competitive play...
Okay, see this? This is more like... Yes, not too bad. See, if this was a Gray Zone Warfare... These two bushes here would be riddled everywhere. They were just like, oh my God, I love bush paint. And they're just like, ah! And they just start dipping, dabbing everywhere with the bush paint for the map.
Is what they're striving for with the live anti-cheat system and in-game reporting. We all know that cheating in PC games is a...
That looked pretty good. This also doesn't look too tall. Maybe you'll still be pretty visible from it. I just think, dude, I'm not a fan of like... lots of different places to prone and crouch and hide your character 100%, you know?
Shoot, it only seems like it's getting...
Tarkov does a really good job with that, with the noise that the when you hit trees makes. So it's a big, giant audio cue in the game. And then they made it where you're slowed down in the bushes, and they made it even better, IMO. But yeah,
worse, to be honest.
Hopefully
but
it's
in
not too bad.
extraction shooters...
Even that, like, looks pretty good, like, visually. Like, look at this shit, dude. Broken down bridge. Random, like, what's it called? AT gun or whatever. Anti-air or whatever they're called. Kind of looks like War Z-ish. Like, remember Campos, War Z, that big giant bridge that kind of did the same thing? Kind of cool. It's pretty open, too, but still some cover. It's not, like, riddled with shit everywhere. It's nice.
Extraction shooters,
pretty nice looking
an
map so
anti-cheat
far.
is arguably even more important.
Sorry I'm being annoying right now, guys. I just want to look at, like, the different areas on the maps. Like, even this looks pretty nice. Not too many places just to hunker down and camp.
Even more important, just because of what's at stake. The gear fear. And I know that might sound a bit theatrical, but
Annoying
as
the video's out,
having that
jackfrags.
taken away from you by a cheater in one shot, it's even more frustrating than losing a game of Battlefield or Counter-Strike, for example.
Not to mention, we've
yes,
seen
I
the same
realize
videos like
cheating
10 times.
is always going to be there. It's an arms race that will never end, but at least they've mentioned it. Hopefully, it does its job, and it's good to see them addressing it straight away. They talked about something called data gathering too, and that appears to go both ways here. To combat cheating and also to improve the gameplay experience, data visualization is something the developers have spoken about, saying that it will give players everything they need to win in the arena. This means that you'll be able to explore maps.
Bro, I can't keep watching this clip where this guy just aims. Like, what do you...
No, this means...
Okay, the guy's there.
Means that you'll be able to explore maps and detailed infographics to learn all about the game. Get in there and understand the nitty-gritty. One complaint you could have about Tarkov is that there really is no onboarding whatsoever. You could also argue that's a good thing, and some players enjoy that and learning as they go, looking up the guys themselves, doing a bit of research. But Infinite say there will be more of an onboarding process here, and having something there to give players a better understanding of the game when they load it for the first time, explaining
That's a cool kayak and sticking out of the water, brother.
all of its mechanics
You
and
guys can't see it very
intricacies can't be a bad thing.
Sorry.
And I do think this game will be popular on PC if the gameplay is fun, because it's going to be free to play. All in all, I think it's a good introduction to the game.
Free to
Whistle.
play.
But I do
Good video, man. That's jackfrags, guys. It's interesting. Looks a bit too similar to Tarkov. Yeah, but I imagine core decisions will be a little different.